Hello, how are you? I am here with all of my bits and pieces. How are you doing? It's the weekend. It's the weekend, and it's going to be a busy weekend for me this weekend. Let me know as you're coming in. I know that there is somebody online, but I don't know who that is yet. So tell me who you are and what's happening, and if you've got anything great planned for the weekend. Hopefully you're going to spend some of the weekend with me, but we'll see how you go. So we've had one hell of a week, and I wanted to start off by saying thank you, and thank you for being here. And today this evening, I'm really excited to be showing you my roadmap. And I've teased it all week. And it's something that I've worked quite a lot on recently to actually put into a picture for you. Helen, you'll say you're working tomorrow. I know, no worries. Retail. I mean, what can we do? But there'll be a replay for it anyway, so you'll be able to catch it. Don't you worry. Thank you. And Janice is here. Hello. Are you home or are you driving? Let us know where you are and what you're up to. And I've just got to remember to refresh this page here so that I can see who's on here. Anyway, it's been an amazing week, and I've loved all of your hi Sonia. I've loved all of your comments and all of your questions, so keep them coming. This week is definitely about you, okay, and getting you the support that you need. Janice says she's listening, and she's just finished a conference call and she's already packing for her move. What a lot of stuff you're going to be busy with. So let me get into it. Today is about this roadmap, and it is something that I have been working on putting into pictures, if you like, for you, so that, and for all the people that I work with, to make it a lot clearer. And I'm going to take you through this roadmap, and hopefully you will, what I want for you is to start to think about where you are and what are the questions. So no problem, I'm still here. I don't know what happened with my mouse, but it knocked me out. So hopefully you can still see me and you can still hear me. It's always interesting when that happens, but there you go. I'm going to try and not touch too many things, but I'm going to go into the presentation mode. So let me go fiddle with that for just a moment. You know, it just takes me a little bit of time to do that. So I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna share that screen over there, and then hopefully you can see it, and I'll take myself out of the picture, and then let me actually go into the slideshow mode. And then you can see me, and I think if I swap displays, you should be able to see that there. Can you tell me if you can see the presentation now? Because it takes a little while to just upload onto mine. So it'd be good. Maybe you can't see it. Hold on, what am I sharing? Let me go, hold on. hold on, let's end show. For some reason, you can't see it. So let me try and share my screen again. Share screen, share screen. Let's see if I can share the presentation, share, and then that should be in there. And then hopefully you can now see that. So I think you can. Let me just go check in here and see if that's done that. And you can see it. Yes, we're rocking and a rolling. All right. So I've now got it up again. So this is workshop 3, and I have got this here at the beginning because I really want to remind you that what you need to be doing to win this prize, and believe me, it is a big prize. Okay. Then what I need you to do is to post in the group, post anywhere else that you like, and tag me. Post about your wins, post about the light bulb moments, post about things that you're doing, things that you're learning. Yeah, if there is a way that you can, if you can invite people, let me know that you've invited them. Post your selfies. Come on, people. Helen, kudos to you. I saw the selfie in there, which was fabulous. And then I posted one as well. So if you can post your selfies so that I can see your beautiful faces, then do. Then let me see. And let me see your photos in there, and each entry, each photo gets an entry into the prize. And I will be telling you on Sunday who the winner is. So workshop 2. So workshop 2 was a little recap, was some key leadership mistakes that many of us make. In fact, lots of us make, and what you need to do to avoid them. How we need a new model of leadership, and some of the choices that you might need to look at in order to create and embrace a new model. And Tahani, I can see that you're here too. Thank you for coming, lovely. Nice to see you. So those are some of the things that we said. And Sonia, you can see it on the webpage, which is lovely. Thank you very much for that. So those are some of the things that we went through in workshop 2. Now in workshop 3, the focus today is on what choosing leadership actually means. And then I'm going to share with you my roadmap to leadership success. And I want you to give me feedback on it. And I want you to tell me how it's working for you. I'm going to help you decide where you are on your journey, whether you're in one spot, or actually it's a bit like a game of Twister and you've got a foot in one and a leg in the other, and feeling a bit wobbly, really. And then I cannot stress enough the importance of a support network. And I'll tell you a bit more about what I mean when I'm talking about that. So, number 1, what does choosing leadership actually mean? Now, choosing leadership, we've said it's a journey, okay? And it is a lifelong journey. This is something that you embark on, and it is a journey of learning, of challenges, of all sorts of things, but it is a lifelong journey. It's not short. It's a journey of self-development, of curiosity, of discovery. It's a journey of realizing that we lead people, we don't lead things. And therefore, you need to put people first. And it's not just about work. We are leaders in all parts of our lives, for our families, our communities, our friends, and people who don't even know us, but they see us somehow. In our times now in terms of social media and how visible we are, depending on the choices that you make in social media, you will be amazed at the number of people who see you. Some of you own businesses in here, and they may not even be people that come in and see you in your business, but they still see you and they still hear about you, and you are leaders for them. So it's not just about work, but a lot of you are here because of your journey in work. And for all journeys, we need a map. And nowadays, this sort of map is more the sort of map that we're looking at, rather than a paper map. And so we can do journeys on our own, but we'll go so much faster if we at least have a map. And if we can do it with other people, then all the better. So what's the roadmap to leadership success? Now, I have shown it to you before, and this is a really busy page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. Yeah. So I'm going to break it down into its component parts and talk to you about each of them. And what I want you to do as I'm going through each of the parts is I want you to write in the comments, in whether you're on Chatroll or you're in the Facebook group, or anywhere else. I want you to write down where you think you are and what the questions are that you have right now at this part of the journey, regardless of the ones that I might give you. I'm going to highlight some of the key ones that you need to be asking yourself, but what are the ones that are really appearing for you at the moment? And don't worry if it does feel like a bit of a game of Twister, and I'll see if I can see the comments as we go, and if I've missed any, I will get them at the end as well too. So I'm going to break it down for you, and you can see that there are 5 stops, if you like, on the journey. You can also see that it's not linear, and that there are various paths, and I'll tell you more about those as we go. So the first one is operational genius, and I have mentioned this before during the week, mainly because I know that all of us really go through this phase at some stage, usually at the beginning of our journeys. And this is a stage where actually some people really struggle to get out of it for a number of reasons. So what does operational genius mean? It means that you are great at doing your job, that you are known for delivery and you get praised for it, that it feels great to be the person that people go to get things done. And you're starting to get to a stage where you know that working harder just isn't possible. There aren't enough hours in the day. But this is what you do. You deliver and you enjoy delivering. And actually, you may start to be thinking that everyone else is just not on the same pace as you, and that others just don't get it when it comes to what needs to be done. They just don't see it. And this could be where you get stuck unless you learn to let go. So some of the things that you need to add in here now, think about now, you need to start to develop a clear definition of what leadership means to you and to others. You need to start thinking about who your role models are and why they are your role models. And you need to know what it is that drives you and what doesn't. And what does this mean to you and to others? What is it that gets you up in the morning? What is it that makes you feel good? And if some of the jobs or the tasks or the projects that you're seeing don't have that, why is it? Some of the questions that you might be asking yourself is, how do I add value now? This, I know how I do at this stage, but if I move from here, how do I add value? How do I let go and not lose control? And what if I can't do the next bit? Because I'm great at this. So what if I can't do the next thing? So those might be some of the questions. And if you've got some other questions in here, please do ask them. So operational genius, really amazing at getting things done. From operational genius, we move to the explorer. Now, this is a stage where you've started to make the decision that, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I want to take on more responsibility. And that means taking on the responsibility for people. And you might be full of questions in terms of, well, who am I as a leader? And how do I even figure that out? Now, if you've done your role model, if you know who your role models are and why they're your role models, then you'll be able to answer this question. You might be asking yourself, how do I influence? How do I deal with conflict? You could have a team at this stage, but some people don't, especially in matrix managed organizations where you tend to work in project teams, but you definitely have to start to achieve more through other people. And you know that working more strategically is definitely something that you want to do. So some of the things that can start to show up in here, or things that you need to work on in here, is I know who I want to be as a leader. I know my values and how to live them and how to express them. I know which beliefs empower me and which I need to reframe. So a lot of the things that we were looking at yesterday. And I know how I trust others and how I expect others to trust me. So we spoke about trust journey. We spoke about all of that yesterday. So it's really about starting to make those decisions. And I know how to deal with conflict and what that means. So these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. Do I know how to do this? What is the training plan that I put in place to do this? Who were my role models? Who are my role models? Why are they my role models? Which ones can I learn from? And how do I start to express, both in how I trust, how others trust me, in my beliefs, how I come across as a leader? And so many leaders in senior positions that I speak to haven't done enough here, or haven't revisited this as they move along the journey, and then get stuck. And they get stuck along the way because they don't really know who they are in the position that they're in. So once we go from explorer, you're going to move into guide. Now, at this stage, you'll definitely have a team, big or small, you'll have people. And this may be exactly what you wanted. You wanted that team, but oh boy, what a minefield. Everyone is so different. So Helen, if you're still here, this is where your gremlins come to play with you in terms of your team. Because it's a minefield, because big or small, even if you've just got one person that you're responsible for, everyone is so different. And now you're spending all of your time in the soup that is people stuff. So how can you actually get things done? How do you make sure the team deliver? Are they happy? Are they engaged? And do they get what they need? And what about you? Are you getting what you need? And this is something, we'll go back to this, but this is something that gets repeated every time. Every time you get a new team, you will go through something like this. It's just that you tend to go through it a little bit quicker. So in here, some of the things that you need to learn: understand what drives the team. So not only what drives me, but now you pass that knowledge over to what is it that drives the team and individuals in the team, and how to tap into that for the success of you and the success of the team. It's also about getting to a stage where you're actually starting to enjoy your role as a leader of this team. And believe me, that is possible. You do get there. You've mastered things like giving and receiving feedback. So Helen, when you were talking yesterday about the performance reviews and talking about making sure that those conversations happen all the time, you know, when you're here, it's about learning how to do that in a way that is just part of your day to day, and that people understand what those conversations are about. I can achieve more with the team than without them. Now, that is a huge moment when actually you realize that yeah, we're actually doing a whole lot more altogether. Yeah. And you start to get a little bit of development time for you too. So now you start to get a bit of space back for you to think, okay, what feedback am I getting? And am I getting what I need and what I'm doing? Then we get to driver. And some people, believe me, love this stage and decide to stay here. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So this is a stage where your team is absolutely on fire. You have complete trust in each other. They get on with things. They're delivering. You have time for yourself. And it's actually quite comfortable here. And so that's when some people start to think, well, do I want to go any further? Is this me? Is this where I'm happy and where I give the most value? But if you do decide that you want to go further, well, what does further mean? And what do you want to be involved in? And how do you play in a bigger game? And what does this mean for you and your team? You know, depending on your organization, you might even be in a situation where people around you are asking you to play a bigger game. And then again, there are some questions about what you do that. I've got a client at the moment that I work with today called Lucila. She's from Argentina. And this is exactly where she is now. So one of the things that we've done today is really have a look at her stakeholders. Who are her stakeholders now? And if she's thinking about where she's going to move to, who are they? What do they look like from that perspective? What is it that they need to develop now and that she needs to develop now? So here are some of the things. You know, I'm clear that I want to continue developing and play a bigger game, or not? Ask yourself that question. If so if I do want to go on, I know who my stakeholders are now, which is why we were working on her stakeholder map. I'm getting clearer on my purpose. So I'm starting to ask myself some questions about what is it I really want to do? What is my legacy? What is it I want to be known for at work or anywhere? And I'm getting into the meetings that I want to be part of because I want to play in a bigger game and I want to be in front of these stakeholders. So how do I do that? And that's some of the things that we've been working on today too. And I've got some time for me and I am taking it. I am actually using that time for myself to develop further. And then we get to visionary. So visionary, here is when you are seen as a role model. Now, as a leader, you know, I have spoken all week about this, and you know that you are seen by your people as a role model. And so if you look after yourself, they will think that it's okay to look after themselves. If you don't, then they'll think that it's not okay or that you don't approve. But at this stage, a much broader audience is seeing you as a role model. You may have a business in your community. So Helen, I know that this applies to you. And there may be other business owners who are seeing you as a role model, who are seeing you as someone that they want to emulate. Yeah. So who is looking at you and who is fighting really to get to work with you and for you? And now it's your turn to identify and nurture new talent. It's your turn because you've got to a stage where you know what's required. So how do you identify them and how do you nurture them? And there may be some questions again here around what really is my purpose? What impact do I really want to make at work, in my community, in the world? So I'm clear on my purpose. I can drive change and bring people with me. I enjoy identifying and nurturing talent. and I thrive in times of change and ambiguity rather than struggle through it. And this, for some people, when they get to this stage, can be a time of enlightenment, and it can be a time of great confusion, especially if they haven't done a lot of the work before. Because what is your purpose? What is your why? So I hope that that gives you a bit of a view. So we've got operational genius that leads into explorer, that leads into guide, that leads into driver, that leads into visionary. But it is not linear. And you may find yourself in a number of those places at the same time. And then what's really important here is that it doesn't stop. It keeps going round. So when I say to you that some people who struggle when they get to a stage is because they haven't done enough at Explorer, or they haven't done enough at Operational Genius. They haven't learned to let go, for example, of the things that they love to do. They have just kept on doing them. Yeah. Or they haven't learned really who their role models are, who they want to be, what their values are and how they express them. And so what's happened is that they've just been given more and more responsibility. So they have that positional power, and they're doing their best in terms of, I'm not saying that any of these leaders are terrible leaders at all, but what's happening to them is that they're struggling through it. They're struggling with the people stuff rather than actually getting some enjoyment from it and actually learning how to do things that make them enjoy it rather than suffer through it. So that is the journey. And please tell me where you think that you are. I'm going to stop sharing in a moment, and hopefully you can tell me. And then here comes the bit that I need to splash everywhere. And right now, the word resilience and stress and pressure are everywhere and in different places. And this, I cannot stress enough the importance of a support network. Now, these people, with a couple of notable exceptions, a lovely lady called Arancha, who's not there, and a lovely lady called Biana, who some of you may have seen on the group the other day, are not there. These were the people that were my support network during one of the most rewarding and most challenging times in my career. When I was leading a group of or a team of 80 plus coaches across EMEA and getting involved in the development of coaches and their work across the globe. And this was my support network. And guess who they were? They were my team. Okay, these were the people that I was responsible for and led and recruited and trained and helped. And I learned more from them than they ever learned from me. Now, obviously, this doesn't include either my family or some of the clients even that we worked with, who were amazing as part of that network. And Tahani, you were there through some of it, so you know all of these people. So you can hopefully see some of my values and the way that I work and the way that I think about leadership exemplified here. Yeah, this was my team and my support network. My clients were the people that I delivered for, and they were also included in my support network. And there were also people in the office who were part of support. There's my family, friends, and colleagues from previous lives as well, plus my bosses. So the people that I was doing the work for were part of my support team. And I was always the first one to put my hand up and say, eek, help, need support. And you know what? They'd be there. And no matter what time of day or night, somebody would be on the end of a phone, at the end of a video chat to help out. So what we've covered today, what choosing leadership actually means, it's going on that journey. and deciding that you're going to learn on that journey, that you're going to evolve on that journey, and that you're going to take the challenges on. We've gone through a roadmap, so a way for you to identify where you are right now on the journey and what is critical for you to do next, and also where you want to go on that journey and what are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And then hopefully I've got across how important I think a support network is and how you need to have one. Now, there was a short workbook for this workshop today. Oh, struggling to find my words now. So if you haven't downloaded it, please do jot down your thoughts and questions in there, and most importantly, take a picture of yourself and post it so I can see your lovely faces. Now, you need to do that in order to win the prize. So you really have to show up, because the comments on our calls are across lots of different platforms, and you've all been commenting on the call. So actually having the posts, putting something on there, you can put 5 on there in one go if you like. Do that, and then I can have a look at them and count them all. Now, tomorrow we're going to have a catch-up day, so if you have missed any of it, then I will be on tomorrow afternoon. I think it's going to be quite rainy in the UK. So hopefully you'll come and join me for a little while. And I'm not only going to go through a little bit of a summary of everything that we've done and some of the questions that we've gone through, but I'll also be there to take any more questions that you need and that you have, especially maybe once you've digested everything that I've said today. And then on Sunday evening, we have got the end of the Coachathon. You can't see me now, but my arms are up in the air. So we've got the end of the Coachathon, which in some ways is going to be quite sad. But we're going to have a bit of a celebration party. So you'll see in a moment that I've got a hot mug of something that's helping me with my throat. But maybe Sunday evening, I might even bring a glass of wine to the party. And I will give you details of how we can carry on the journey together, and I will be talking to you about I'll be announcing, not talking to you, what am I saying? I'll be announcing the winner as well of this week. So if you want the weekend catch up, you've got it on your links page, but it's join.soniagavira.com/catch up. I think the party just says party in the end instead of catch up. But tomorrow afternoon, I'll be going through the catch up, and you've got all of those in your events page. I think it's I think it's 4:00. Yeah. And now I'm going to stop sharing. Let me see if I can come back and see everything. So hopefully you can see me. Yes, you can. So hopefully you can see me, and you can, and I can take any questions at all that you have. So I've got someone, don't know who it is, who's given me a thumbs up, which is fabulous. Thank you for the thumbs up. And then I've got Helen, who says, love this. I'd like to think I'm at 4, but due to team dynamic changes due to COVID redundancies, losing 2 staff, I need to go back to 3 and work with the team to get to 4. Absolutely. So that is so fabulous, Helen, in terms of understanding how this works. It's not about, oh no, I've got to go back to 3 and that means I'm going backwards. No, because everything that you've learnt at 4, you know how to get the team there. And so it's about recognizing that you have new people, that there are different circumstances, different environment, and therefore it's reviewing all of that. Yeah, it's reviewing where you are and reviewing what it is that that you need now and how you get the whole team to where you want them to go. Yeah, And for you, Helen, it's fabulous because you know what that looks like. You know what the team looks like when they're there. And so you know what they need from that, which is fabulous. So I'm just looking down here because Sonia's got me a question. So I'm wondering why the what is my vision purpose is in the last part of the model. I would see it in the first station, actually, in order to start a real leadership journey. And Sonia, you do in the first part of the model, which is the operational genius, you start to think about, do I want to go on this journey? Do I want to start thinking about who I want to be as a leader and what I want to be sure about? So absolutely, I mean, purpose is something that we, the sooner we understand what it is that drives us, which is why I do it with you right at the beginning, what it drives us, what's important to us, we start to think about our purpose. The reason I've put it in at the end there as an extra exercise, so you're right, you know, and maybe what I need is different words to use it at the beginning, because what I find is that as we go through life and as we go through our journey, we get clearer and clearer on what it is that is right for us now. So what I might have thought my purpose was when I was in my 20s, in some ways has changed quite dramatically and evolved as I've got older and I've got clearer about what it is. So if you've got some ideas, or maybe it is just the word purpose, but if you've got some ideas of how I can include that so that people are talking about what it is that's actually important to them and where it, and they get a sense of where they're going. I know I've worked with people who've suddenly decided to have a family, for example, and their purpose has changed then again. So thank you for that. And I think you're absolutely right. And I need to maybe include that but with a slightly different nuance at each of the stages. So more than happy if you've got any ideas, and I'll include that in there too. Has anybody got any other questions? Janice, are you still here, or are you packing? And how are you feeling about the different stages? Sonia, does that make sense to you, what I've just said? Let me know. You're on the web page, which is great, and I can refresh and see if there's any more comments. Yes, absolutely fabulous. So Sonia, if you've got any other ideas, because I want to be able to distinguish it, I guess, in some way at each stage, and allow people to really and you know what, it's nothing to do with age either. You can get to that level. I work with some amazing visionary leaders who are definitely at that stage, and they have they are driving really engaging, really groundbreaking organizations, and are very clear on what their purpose is right now. And I know that that's going to evolve and it's going to change. And I want people to be able to accept that as part of the process. So if you've got any ideas of how else I can express it, that would be really cool. I'll attribute it to you somewhere, Sonia. What is, Sonia's just told me that English isn't her native language. So what is your native language? But how you're expressing yourself is fantastic. So maybe if you give it to me in your native language, I can then try and find it and translate it as well, which I think would be fabulous. But I guess it's all about having a very raw kind of a vision. And then by going through all of the stages, you define it more concretely. Yeah, absolutely. So I think at every stage of the journey, Oh, and you and I can probably speak a little bit in French, but not in German. Don't do German. Even though my German team gave me a German, I've got it up there, some language course actually for me to go through. I've got it on my to-do list, most definitely. So I like this. So it's about having a very raw kind of vision. And then by going through all the stages, you define it more concretely. Absolutely. And it evolves and it changes. And if it does, you sort of have to revisit the whole circle to see what is right for you now. Anything else that anyone has? I don't know. I know that there are a few of you on here. So anybody else know where they think they are on the journey? Are you in a bit of a twister situation where you've got a foot in one and I don't know what I'm doing with that. My foot's down here. So a foot in one, a hand on another, and a hand on another place. Is that where you are right now? Because sometimes that's what happens to people. And especially when you're coming out of the operational genius piece, starting to get a team and your team's evolving. That can work a bit like that also. If you haven't got any questions, that's absolutely fine. I hope that has been really helpful for you. And maybe you want to mull it over. Yeah. So maybe you want to have a look at this. Have a look at it in terms of your vision as well. What is it that, so with Sonia's question, what is your vision right now for yourself? What is your purpose? What is it that you, if you're ready, what is it that you want to leave as a legacy? What is it that you want to test, try on, evolve into? Jill, you missed the start, but you're going to catch up. That's absolutely fine. And I'm doing a catch up tomorrow. So I don't know why I'm talking to my iPad. Jill, you're there. So I've got a catch up tomorrow that I'm doing as well. And then we're announcing the winner of the competition on Sunday. So everybody get busy doing lots of posts and stuff. I want to see lots of selfies of everybody. So Sonia, you've said, in my career, I'm an operational genius, but in other parts of my life, I'm rather in other stages. Okay. And I've been extremely driven by a very clear vision in volunteer NGO work. And that's amazing. Yeah, and that's fabulous that you have that clarity in terms of what drives you. And I've done some work with the Red Cross. I've done some work at the UN on the Sustainable Development Goals, and there are a number of people there who have ended up there because of that vision. Yeah, and because of that purpose that they're chasing as well. And in terms of your career, it's making some choices for you, maybe, Sonia, in terms of where you want your career to take you, and what does it mean in terms of you leading your career? Because this doesn't necessarily always mean leading other people. So how do you lead yourself and leading your career? Where do you want it to go? Is it something that you want to keep separate, your career and your NGO work, volunteer work? Or is it something that you want somehow to bring closer together? I'm not saying to work in it, but is it something that you want to bring closer together? Is that something that's going to give you even more purpose and more ability to drive what's really important to you? So those are maybe some of the questions that might help you move forward, unless you tell me that you've already thought about those and that you've made a deliberate decision to keep them separate, for example. Absolutely no judgment here. Obviously, I'm talking to the comments that you're bringing. So thank you, everybody, for another really engaging. I've loved some of the questions, Sonia. That I've really enjoyed that piece about bringing that vision and purpose to some of the other areas. And so I'll look at definitely how I can incorporate that in there, maybe with slightly different language, using your vision that evolves. And Helen, you know where I am in terms of and thinking about the team dynamics. A lot of organizations could actually really benefit from looking at it in that way, and looking at how a changing environment means that they have to look at some of the things in those other areas. They have to look at their own leadership, how they're showing up, and what they now need to do in terms of bringing those team members into that other area. So, you know, that's really important, and something that I think a lot of people in organizations should be considering and looking at now. Sonia says, exactly, I've been quite passive in my career and not satisfied for quite a while, but rather from I'm such a poor victim perspective. And now I want to own it more and take action and really take the lead in my career. Amazing. Fabulous. So those are some of the questions maybe that then will be helpful for you to consider. So Sonia, if you can come back tomorrow, and I will happily coach you through some of those questions and some of those issues, and we can get you maybe thinking in a way that's going to take you forward. So if nobody has got any more questions, then I am going to call it a night tonight. I think Janice must be packing. I know that she's moving. Hopefully, Janice, you'll be around at the weekend, maybe with a glass of wine in your new bungalow. And any of you that can make it this weekend, please do. As I said, I'm doing a catch up tomorrow. So if you know of anyone that would be interested, then let them know, get them to sign up, and they'll get all the details of where to come. Thank you once again. Thank you for spending all week with me. I'm really happy and delighted. This is the first time that I've done a week like this, and I'm so delighted to see that some of you have actually been here for the whole week. Helen, you can catch it all on the replay, and Jill, you can too. So thank you again. Back again tomorrow, late afternoon, 4 o'clock. For a catch up, and then Sunday with a glass of wine, because right now I've just got herbal tea. Look, I've got a pucker tea. Sonia says, thank you for sharing all your insights. My pleasure, Sonia. Pucker tea. Hopefully by Sunday it'll be a glass of wine. It's in the evening, so it'll be 1 o'clock anyway. Anyway, people, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Make sure you selfies. I want pictures. And I'll see you soon. All right. Take care. Bye.